Here's some AKM bayonets. They're Romanian. I thought I'd show these off. Two of them have some trench art on them. That was pretty cool. First of all, these two were in pretty nice shape. At least the scabbard. And these both have the rubber frogs on them, and then these two are just rusty. They're missing the frogs. They're all missing the hanger, which is the part you'd hang it on your belt. But the first one that has trench art is this one, and it says Sava, which from Googling it is a Serbian name. And like a lot of these parts kits and different stuff we buy, a lot of this has come out of the former Yugoslavia. And this one was fired with the scabbard and everything on it while it was on the gun, while it was on some type of AK. Doesn't necessarily have to be on a Romanian AK. Could have been on anyone. But the guy fired it hot enough that the slant break, or the sugar scoop, some people call it, melted the frog. So it was put on at least 2 different times and fired like that. This one's fine. This wasn't like that. It either wasn't fired with the scabbard or got hot enough, or the frog was down on this end. And then the other one, which is kind of cooler, is this one. It's got those tally marks on it. Yep, I had to count them again. I thought it was 12. Yeah, it's 12 of these tally marks. And then this thing's beat to crap. It's all hammered on. Like they were trying to pound in tent stakes or something. Who knows? Smashed in on this side. Still very cool. None of these have matching numbers. The only one that even slightly matches is the prefix on this, ED. Also matches the knife or the bayonet. This has ED, but the numbers don't match. All the rest of these are mixed up. Let me get them out of the sheath. Now I got these when they were on sale a few months ago. They were $4.99 each. Which I've been wanting a AK bayonet, but at 20 or 30 bucks, I remember when all different kinds of them were about $5. I just couldn't bring myself to do it, but they were on sale. They still have these for $8.95 at Arms of America. The ones with the rusty scabbards. Then they have these ones with the frog for, I think it was $14.95. And then they have them with the frog, with the nice, not rusted sheath or scabbard for, what was it, about $17. Something like that. Anyway, all of these came really dull. And these aren't, from what I read, these were never known to be, they're not razor sharp hunting knives you're going to skin out a deer with or something like that. They're just a bayonet. They're made to go in. They have just a beveled edge only on one side of the blade. They're flat on the other. And that's so they don't get stuck in bone. Like, my father was in Special Forces back in the early 70s. And he must have told me this 100 times. That he thought it was one of the dumbest things they taught him. That if you stabbed some guy with your bayonet and it got stuck in the bone, and you couldn't pull it out, the way to get it out was to fire a couple of rounds. And he was like, why the hell would I bayonet some guy if I still had a couple rounds in my gun? It's kind of funny. It makes sense, but I could still see how you might wind up bayoneting some guy even if you had some rounds. I could think of a few reasons. Trying to be quiet, or your gun happened to malfunction just for a split second and you had to stab the guy and you get it unjammed and shoot it out. But, let's see, where was I? Oh yeah. Now, I did come across on a forum, and they talked about some of these Balkan bayonets being demilled, that they had ground the edges off of some of these. And there might be some truth to that. Because, let me find, like this one, the edge geometry, if I can get kind of hard to see, but you can see right down here where my thumb is, the blade's thicker, and then it tapers down. Like somebody's taken an angle grinder and kind of ground it, and you could see that. Dang, phone focus. Look how flat that edge is. I mean, you couldn't cut butter with this. I don't know that it left a factory like that, or later somebody took this to an angle grinder, or maybe not just some kind of grinder, and ground the edge off of it. And then this is so dull. This other one's extremely dull. This one has no edge really either. Now these other two the blades were in better shape, and I put a little bit of an edge. I mean, they're not really sharp. Just it seemed ridiculous to have them as dull as they were. And anyway, these tally marks, they match up exactly to the sawtooth on the back of the bayonet. Kind of hard to do this one here, but I could see how you could carve this in here with this. So it'd be cool to know what these are. These people that they shot, executed, girls that they, you know, ravaged, people they tortured, stabbed at the bayonet. Could be anything, really. Could be bottles of vodka they drank. Remember, these are pretty common bayonets. And I've got another one that my father gave me. My grandfather brought this back from the military. And why not extremely rare? These aren't that common. This is an M14 bayonet. Now, let me get this out. Which I think this makes a much better knife, you know, if I had to fight somebody, than these AK bayonets. This is like a dagger. It's like a real fighting knife. It's got a good handle. It feels good in your hand. These handles feel like crap. They're fat. They're weird. You know, I mean, it's alright. It's better than like a prison shank. Which I do have a prison shank somewhere. I'll have to find that thing. And my father used to work at a prison for a little while. For a few years. And he brought a couple shanks back. But these are nice. This is like a normal knife. Be razor sharp if you wanted it to. I've played around with this since I was a kid. I used to carry this hiking all over the desert and everything. Surprised I never lost it. And then I got some more knives here to show, which aren't bayonets. But here's one I found in the desert. Really cool. Little dagger-like knife. And it's got an aluminum handle. This is probably stainless steel since it's not rusted. And I tried to sharpen it. Trying to give it more like a sword edge where it doesn't have that, you know, like a 45-degree bevel at the edge of it. I just wanted to taper all the way down. And during this past few years where I was stuck in bed, which I kind of am stuck in bed right now, I worked on this. But this was a good find. I was really happy when I found this. I saw it we're driving through the desert and I just saw it laying on the desert floor looking out the window of the truck. I was riding passenger. I thought it was a bayonet at first. I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth. Like, stop, stop, stop. It was still pretty neat, you know, wasn't quite as cool as a bayonet. One of my friends found an engineer knife made by Imperial Knife Company, and it looks like a bayonet, but it doesn't have the parts to go on the rifle. And, it looks similar to this knife, except it has like a sawtooth back, and it doesn't have like the button, the parts for the rifle, like I said. And there's another. These are kind of crappy. This is just a Chinese knife. You know, kind of like a fake survival knife, I guess. I mean, it's a real knife, but I wouldn't want to use this for survival. But I found this out in the desert. It didn't have any of the tools inside of it. You can open this up and you know, most of them come with like a fishing gear and matches and stuff like that on them. And then I've got this really unusual knife. This is actually a friend of mine's. He left it with me, but I guess, I think when he was in college or something like that, or in school, one of his friends from Haiti made this for him. And it's wood. And the coolest thing is the knife is made of wood. So it's a solid wooden knife. I don't know if they made anything like this in Haiti, or if this is just something the guy thought was cool for wood shop or what. I didn't really ask my friend many details about it. Just got it. Usually keep it hanging on my wall. One of my nieces really wanted this the other day. That's why I have it out here. She kept asking me for it. And I was like, well, it's not mine. I can't give it to you. That'd make a pretty good prison shank too. Sharpen that up a bit. Go right through the metal detector. Well, I was hoping to find that prison shank, but I don't know where it's at. Oh, anyway. There it is. Just one last thing. This I don't think I pointed this out. This thing's actually made in Japan. So that's pretty cool. And this table. This is a cool. I'll point this out since I'm right here shooting a video on it. I found this table in the desert too. It was in an arroyo. I don't know how the water didn't destroy it. It's not, I mean, the thing's perfectly straight. It's an army folding table. My friend was so mad that I found this and he didn't find this. And it's awesome. This thing's in really good shape. It's got legs that fold up on it. I've seen them for sale surplus. But just the wonderful things you can find out in the desert.